Well, while everybody gets settled, we're going from 16 horns down to 3, otherwise known as a trio. This piece that's going to be played is called Fugue, and it's by Phoebus Reworky. The tune is taken from a student cabaret in Norway, so it's kind of a drinking tune. Phoebus Reworky was born in Oslo, Norway in 1941. She studied piano and violin when she was a youngster, and when she was 17, she started to study the horn, and she's one of the world-renowned horn players of our generation. So we're going to let these guys finish emptying out water. It's not spit. I was a music teacher, and all the kids go, look at, they're spilling spit on the floor. Last time I checked, it's quite impossible to blow through about 8 or 9 feet of horn and have spit go that far. I guess if you're doing a watermelon spitting contest, maybe you can spit 9 feet. What happens is we play, the horns warm up a whole lot, and then they cool down, and the water condenses, and we have a lot of tubing. You'll hear about that a little bit later on. And so we keep pulling out slides and dumping and dumping and dumping to get it out. Otherwise, we have what's known in horn vernacular as water music. And it's not the kind of water music you want to listen to. It kind of gurgles in there. So once they get everything emptied out, we're going to listen to Fugue. We have another trio coming up, and what it is actually the introduction to a little lesson on French horns for all of you. Our illustrious director, Bart Chinworth, will be the one that narrates this and tells you what's going on. I'm sure you noticed we've got a whole bunch of things up here on the communion table, and there's some extremely long horns on the floor that you can't see, but you'll get to see and hear in a few minutes. So we're going to let the trio behind us introduce what horn was really kind of created for, and that was hunting. So we're going to hear a hunting horn trio, and then I'm going to let Barb come up and take it from there.
I guess we're live. Okay. The horn is a passion. It's not only a conical shaped instrument, it just is a passion, a lifelong passion. And for me, it changed the course of my life. Somebody said, here, play this. And I said, what is this? Oh, yeah, and they go on and on. And you find out that many French horn players, which we should say these days, horn players, have similar backgrounds. Well, we need a horn player. And you don't really know what it is. Anyway, we have some odd things up here. To your left would be a conch shell, and somewhere in here we have a person. One of the things that brass players are accused of, and you heard a little bit of reference, is you spit into the horn, but it's really more appropriately called buzzing. And there we go, perfect. It's a very ladylike thing to do. And my ultimate question is, who in the world would have thought of that anyway? I mean, who would have thought of it unless you're really making faces or being bad? Anyway, the conch shell is an old and natural material instrument. So let's hear it. Now we know I was going to ask Nancy to just blow through it without pursing her lips or without buzzing. So in somebody's brain, they thought, well, this doesn't work, so they tried the other. So if somebody can answer that question, it'll be wonderful. Anyway, we know that the elephant sounds are very low and long, and so they can be heard for miles and miles and miles. If you blow one of these and you have the ocean rolling along, you can hear it for a long way. In Japan, there's something called a haraji. It's an ancient instrument. And conch shells and that Japanese instrument were often used for signaling. And people in different groups of peoples developed signals to talk to one another. Okay, I think that there is on the premises somebody to blow this cow horn. That would be the man from Texas. I think I won't hire you as my shepherd. Anyway, he was giving me a bit of background that his granddad had hollowed that out and made it so it's blowable. And you notice he didn't put a mouthpiece in it. The next step up, again, it's a natural material, and we decided it wasn't a longhorn horn. So there's another lovely thing up here a ram's horn, and Dudley and I were talking that probably is from an African animal. Is Dudley available? Here he comes. I was getting there, but good for you. That's all right. Thank you very much. I don't know if he could turn that around with the end into which he blew. It's very, very small, and it's not fitted with the mouthpiece. The shofar, in my much reading of late, has been around for a long time. For one source was 6,000 years, and they've developed a system with actual words, which this is not an extant lecture, but if you care to look it up, there are, once again, not unlike signaling for the worship service, various calls, if you will, for the worship service. But the end of it is very small and difficult to purse the lips that small to get into. Okay, we're going to move on. Those were natural materials. It's always a toss-up, but I think I'll go to the metal horns here, and once again, I need to call on my trusty people who blow these instruments. Now, both of these instruments are made of copper, it looks like, and they're different lengths, and they almost are more like a trumpet, but they are not, because you can see they are cone-shaped. And if you don't remember anything else out of all this, remember that term, the conical extrusion, if you would, of the metal. So it goes out into a cone. Okay, Nancy has the shortest, and she's playing on a cupped mouthpiece. It's not a funnel mouthpiece. Okay.